What's up, everybody? How's
What's
it
going
going
on,
tonight?
guys?
For those that don't know, this is JT from JT's Horror Discussions.
What's going on, everybody?
How's it going? Follow him. I have all of his stuff in the description box, of course.
And make sure go to my channel, check out. I might even just leave a comment with the video, and maybe you could pin it or something with the voting video. Make sure you guys go over and vote for either Al or the three other nominees for Horror YouTuber of the Month for November. And yeah, guys, just vote because we got a while to go still. So
Yep. And JT is the October horror YouTuber of the month. There you
indeed,
go. How about that?
right? How about them apples? Or them pumpkins is more suitable, I guess, for October.
just like what's below you.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even notice that actually.
Sneaking in on you, buddy.
Yeah, I see exactly. Subliminal messaging getting done here.
That's how we roll over here with the bat. Indeed.
Stuff.
Indeed. All right, so give it a couple minutes, let a couple people roll in.
Yep,
So tell us about your channel.
Yeah, I started my channel I think it's a little over. It just hit 4 months or so, and
Oh,
I
wow.
just wanted a platform to discuss everything horror. And I've always been that type of person ever since I was like a kid. Man, my dad and me, when we watched movies, we used to always have that same personality, just picking out just stupid shit that happens in movies and terrible decisions and lines that make no sense. So that's just how I view movies my whole life now. So every time I watch, so a lot of my videos they're long discussions, but I try to mix in some comedy and observational shit in the movies and with some serious horror discussion and stuff. Just trying to make it as fun as possible. That's what this is all about, right?
Absolutely. If it's not fun, why do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I've been having a blast doing the channel the last 4 months. So,
There you go. Oh, we do. Oh, Katie's here. Hey, Katie. How's it going?
hey, Katie.
Good to see you. So yeah, we somehow got the idea to do these top 10 lists.
Yeah, these
We're
are
like,
harder
let's
than I
do
thought.
something. Dude, this was freaking like nerve wracking. I was like, wait,
Yeah,
there's so many good choices.
then I started thinking like, all right, are we talking best or my favorite? But then as I started writing down, I was like, actually, all the ones that I'm considering like the best are my favorite. So it kind of worked out because like at least for the top fives, the second
Right.
halves of them were a lot harder to pick out. But
I did,
got
yes.
it done.
I agree. The bottom half was a bit harder to choose.
Yeah, and I cheated a little bit with a few of them, but we'll get into that.
That's okay. That's okay because some of mine will probably be questionable as well. I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. You got to always
So,
have those ones in there.
Yeah. All right. So I guess you want to start with the scores.
Yeah, let's do top best horror scores or scores soundtracks in a horror film. All
Yeah.
right, so my number 10, this is where I started cheating off the bat, right? I was thinking Lucio Fulci's The Beyond, but then I thought of City of the Living Dead and how much I love the score in that movie also.
Yeah,
And then I thought of Cemetery, House by the Cemetery. And then since it's all part of the trilogy, the Gateway of Hell trilogy, I just put the Fulci's 3 films, the Gateway of Hell trilogy, as number 10. So
nice.
a little sneaky there, but the score is amazing in all 3 of those movies, especially The Beyond. Like The Beyond is a masterpiece to me, and just that piano motif that plays throughout, and it sets the atmosphere so amazing for that movie. And Fulci's just a genius.
Oh yeah, Fulci's the man, and so yes, so Fabio Frizzi did the first 2.
Yeah, and then they had someone else did House by the Cemetery.
I forgot who did the Cemetery, but yeah, somebody else did that one. But yeah, I
You
love Fabio Frizzi. Awesome.
You could tell the difference between the first 2 scores and House by the Cemetery for sure.
Oh yeah, big time.
So what was your top 10? How's it going, 9?
Our buddy's Eddie's here. How's it going?
What's going on, Eddie?
All right, so I actually have 2 honorable mentions too. So
I got 5. So
well, there you go. All right, so one of my honorable mentions is Gremlins.
Great soundtrack.
Jared Goldsmith.
Yeah, great score.
I mean, come on, who doesn't love and know that song?
That
Dun,
and
dun,
the-
dun,
that
dun, dun,
yeah,
dun.
that
Ooh,
that actually was one of the few movies when I was a young kid that actually scared me. Like with his ending dialogue, with like, there might be a
uh-huh.
gremlin in your house. That used to scare me when I was a kid, man. I used to fucking check under my bed for like
Yeah.
if I watched that movie when I was a little kid. That's
Yep.
definitely an effective score for sure. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. And let's see. Oh, and my mom's here. There you go.
All
Hey, mom.
right. Hey, how's
Fans
mom?
in the house. And then my other honorable mention is Zombie by Goblin.
Great. Awesome. Yep.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Um, Goblin is one of my all-time favorite groups of all time.
Yeah,
I
they
can
are
listen.
on
To, I can listen to anything by Goblin, and it's
they are
amazing.
on my list also.
Yes, and they will be popping up again on my list as well.
Oh, I'm sure. It was hard to. I tried to narrow everything down to like one per series,
Yeah,
like if it was
same.
a franchise, but
Yeah,
a few like doubles kind of made it, like the whole trilogy with Fulci just now.
right, right. So my actual number 10 is Nosferatu the Vampire.
All right, yeah,
This
great
is from the
classic.
1979
Yeah, the
Werner
'70s version.
Herzog. Yeah,
Great.
Popol Vuh. I don't know. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah,
I can't pronounce the people.
I always have a hard name pronouncing people's names.
But yeah, this thing's gorgeous too, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is from what is this from? This is from Waxworks. Yeah,
Great stuff.
it's real. It's real haunting and real. I don't know, like you just hear it and you get creeped out.
Oh, the atmosphere it creates is amazing.
It's so yeah,
And
it's
that
such an atmospheric movie.
And yeah, and that's what I think is one of the most important things with a score in a horror movie is that you have a great score, a chilling, haunting score. It adds so much to your movie, atmosphere wise, tone wise. Like it makes such a difference having a great score to go along with a great horror movie. And
Yep.
I'm sure most of the ones on our list are going to be those great horror movies that everyone knows about. And it's there for a reason because these movies are classics for reasons and the scores are phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'll go my runner up, my honorable mentions quick. I'll just rattle them off.
Yeah.
The Shining, Wendy Carlos's score in The Shining.
That one almost made mine too.
Yeah, awesome. I love Wendy Carlos's stuff. Clockwork Orange, her score in that is phenomenal. Also, just with her synthesizer work, such a great composer there. Friday the 13th is one of the runner-ups or honorable mentions. The Thing is my favorite movie of all time. I love the score. I think it's perfect for The Thing, but I don't consider it on my top 10 of greatest scores for a movie, even though I do think it is perfect for the film that it's in.
Absolutely.
And Nightmare on Elm Street, that one almost made the list, but got
Doug
bumped
Bernstein.
off. Yep. I mean, who doesn't know those first few notes when they creep in, right?
Yeah.
Awesome
Beautiful.
stuff. Then Deep Red.
Nice. Ooh, Deep. Oh, I forgot about Deep Red.
What a great score that is, man. With
Yes.
the like the weird time signature guitar and just awesome, such an amazing. So everything they did with Argento and everything else they did from like the 70s for like 2 decades after that was just amazing stuff. Like they couldn't write a bad score.
No,
Like
I couldn't agree more. Really.
yeah,
I really could.
yeah, just everything was brilliant that they were pumping out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess I'll go number 9 is Jaws, which
Okay.
I've never been a big Jaws fan. I mean, I respect it for what it is. I think it's a phenomenal movie, but I couldn't leave it off the list just of how iconic it is and that everyone knows the theme to Jaws. It's such an effective theme for the movie. So that's my number 9. I had to give Jaws some props there.
And the great thing is that it's so freaking
Simple. Yep. Just how simple it is. And most of the best scores are. They're just like the most simplest ones just turn out to be the most effective.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best example right there is Jaws.
It is. And I will have another example later.
All right. I'm sure I might. Actually, yeah, I think I do too. Yep.
So my number 9, funny enough, is The Beyond.
All right. There we go. Awesome pick.
So yeah, there you go. Great minds think alike.
Exactly.
All right,
What
let's
a
see.
great
Mom
score.
says terrible score can make you not want to watch a movie. That is very true.
Absolutely. Especially if it's very different to the tone of the movie, like the rest of the tone of it, and it just doesn't fit. It can take you right out of a film, like 100%.
Absolutely. Mr. Dan's in the house. What's up, Dan?
Hey, Dan.
How's it going? All right.
All right.
Of course,
So we're Number 8, right?
We're
Outside.
going number 8. Yep.
Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead is my favorite Romero Dead film. I think it's Savini's magnum opus effects wise. The effects in that movie are unbelievable,
They are insane. Yeah.
and just the score adds so much to that. Like in that
That
that trapped feeling that they're all in that bunker for the whole movie, and just it's such like a melancholy sound that the
mhm.
score has to it, and it fits with the film very well for me. I love the score to Day of the Dead. All the Dead films I could have put on here probably, but Day of the Dead wins at all of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I completely agree. It's a fantastic score. I almost put it on my list as well. You see, I think there's going to be a lot of man. I almost
Oh
did that
yeah,
one too.
exactly. Yep.
But yeah. All right. So I went a little bit out of the box for my number 8.
Okay,
I went with Chopping Mall.
that's a great movie actually.
It's a great movie. This score is fantastic. It's very synth, like synth wave.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Chuck
yeah, it was
Sereno,
that was so big in the '80s with the
just
synths.
but it just totally works. And
Oh,
it's
especially for that movie.
yeah, this I
Oh,
mean this is an underrated soundtrack
yeah,
for
no,
sure.
that's definitely a good point because I actually wouldn't have thought of that one.
Yeah, this
Great
one,
movie, but I wouldn't have thought of it, and it is a great score.
yeah, it really is. I was so happy when I think Waxwork put this one out too. I'm so happy when they put this out. I was like, yes, I absolutely need that.
Yeah, yeah. That's when I gotta rewatch Shopping Mall soon. It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
Yep.
All right, number 7, The Omen.
Jared Goldsmith, right?
I can't
I think.
think of many other soundtracks to a possession movie or like satanic child movie that the score just reflects it so well, just with the choir and everything. Like it sounds like satanic rituals going on, like during a lot of those
It
crazy
does.
scenes, and it
Yep.
works so well with the whole concept and premise of the movie, with having the Antichrist as this kid here, and nobody wants to think the worst of a child, and nobody wants to try to have to kill a child, especially like I'd need a lot of convincing to like really like believe this kid's the Antichrist. Like
Mhm.
I don't know if I would like get there to the point of believing it enough to do it, to kill a kid.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting premise of watching that movie, which I feel like they missed opportunity a bit. I mean, I know that they had to have Damien not be the natural child because he had to be the Antichrist and wherever he came from. But I
Right.
feel like if he was their natural child, I feel like they missed an opportunity with that, because if they made him the natural child, then you're even thinking this is your child, and would you have what it takes to kill your child to save
Right.
humanity?
Right. Right. Right.
You know what I mean? To save
Yeah.
humanity, to get rid of the Antichrist, who is your own flesh and blood. So either way, though, the way it's such a great movie, it's such a great premise, and the score for that is just fucking haunting. Like it, it
Yep.
really does to do such a great job. It's so effective. Yeah, yeah. Thank you,
Exactly.
Jim.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, that when I think haunting, that is one of the soundtracks that I think of. Absolutely.
Yeah, great stuff.
100%. 100%. All right, my number 7 is again a little bit out the box, and I mainly put this one on for the main theme because the main
Mhm.
theme is so insanely awesome. Now I don't really like this movie that much, but I love the
Okay.
score,
Oh yeah, I got some movies like that too.
and it's Cannibal Holocaust.
I was gonna make my list too, dude. Just the opening theme, the
I
opening and
mean, the
ending theme.
main theme is
It's
so
beautiful. It's a
it's
beautiful
gorgeous.
melody. It's a
It's
beautiful melody.
it's the most beautiful thing ever over this like insanity.
Yep. And it contrasts, yeah, just so well with what happens in the film and what we
It,
see in the movie that I was gonna I forgot to write it down basically under my
yeah,
honorable mentions.
I
Such
mean,
a good piece of music though.
I mean, the rest of it's good too, but that theme
No,
music
the main theme is so good in
is
that, and
just
like I said, the way it
freaking ridiculous.
contrasts, yeah, the way it contrasts with the crazy sadistic shit you see in the movie, like it works so well.
Yeah,
And that was when I thought of that earlier today. I was like, yeah, that's probably one not a lot of people would think and be like, it's kind of a Holocaust, really. Like the score to that was
mhm.
that main theme is fucking phenomenal. Like it's really good.
Yeah. If people in the chat, if you've not heard the main theme to Cannibal Holocaust, look
Yeah,
it up
absolutely
because
check it out.
it's amazing.
great,
Absolutely
great
amazing.
piece of music for sure.
Yeah.
Number six, I went a little more obscure, but not much. I mean, a lot of horror films of this series, but Phantasm.
Okay.
Phantasm theme is simple, and it's just so effective in that adding to that just dreamlike, nightmarish feeling that the Phantasm series has. And just I love Don Coscarelli, like his old
Mhm.
Phantasm series, Bubba Hotep. Like I love everything that he does, and but the score for Phantasm is absolutely amazing. So I had to throw Phantasm in at number six for sure.
Absolutely. Great pick. Great pick. All right. Mine is The Thing.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
So yeah, like you said, it fits the movie just perfectly.
Yep,
And it's just and it's not John Carpenter.
yep. There's Ennio Morricone,
Ennio
right?
Morricone, yeah. But it's just so fantastic. I
Oh,
love the artwork on these, man.
I
These are
love
great.
everything to do with that movie. It is my favorite film of all time. Not even just horror, just of all time, of all film.
Yeah, it's definitely my top five ever. Absolutely,
Yeah,
no
it's
no question.
unreal.
But yeah, the soundtrack's great. It's not the greatest. That's why it's not number one. But
Yep, yep. Yeah,
but
exactly.
it just fits so beautifully, and it's just
Oh yeah, just
damn.
the minimalism to it. But it kind of like Jaws almost, and it's very similar to Jaws a bit, with
Yeah.
the dun dun and the little synthesizer beats in between it, and it just works so well with the. It sounds like Alien. It sounds
Mm,
like it's from another world, and that
yeah.
fits so
Yes.
well with the premise of the movie. Like it's such a perfect theme and score for that movie.
Yeah.
Hey,
There you
video
go.
tasties, what's up, Gareth?
What's
How you
going
doing?
on? You're up late.
Right? He's usually early to bed.
Yeah. All right. So, all right.
Who's up?
I only have
You are
one
up.
more to show, but
Who's up next? You were
all right. You're up next. We're at
number
number five.
five.
Yeah.
Number five, Gareth will appreciate this as we'll be watching this month. Candyman. One of the
Okay.
most beautiful fucking main themes to a horror movie. That piano theme,
Hmm.
I forget who composed it, but it is such a great theme. Like, and they even used it in American Horror Story in one of the seasons for that. And
Oh, okay.
I've seen it used in a few things over the years and stuff that pay homage to it by using that theme. But it is such a awesome composition. Like I absolutely adore that theme to Candyman. So if anyone hasn't heard the Candyman theme for some reason, definitely check that out. It's great piano composition.
It's been quite a while for me, so I will definitely have to revisit that.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was one that almost slipped my mind when I was thinking, and then once I thought of it, I was like, "Oh shit!" I said, "Can how do I forget that?" And then it made it right at number five. I said, "This is in the top five for me," but I
Yeah.
almost slipped my mind. So I'm glad I remembered it.
Apparently, it's Philip Glass. Yeah, there
Philip
you go.
Glass, that's right. Yep, yep.
There you go. That guy. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, the guy with the name. The guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So my number five. I went back and forth on this one a lot because I didn't know which one to choose.
Yeah, that's what basically
So
my 4 to 3 are. I'm 4 to 2
because
are.
I had to have this composer in there somewhere, and so I ended up choosing Beetlejuice for Danny
Okay.
Elfman
All right. A great score.
because I absolutely had to have Danny Elfman in there somewhere. Um, I mean, Beetlejuice is just it's fun, it's funky,
Oh, it's such a
it's
great
just
movie.
I'm sure all of you have heard Beetlejuice. It's
Yeah.
not.
Gareth was just watching it on the stream not too long ago.
That's right. Sure
Yeah,
did.
for Beetlejuice. A
Yeah.
great movie, great score for sure.
Except
Um,
except he didn't hear the score because he had it on mute.
yeah, exactly. So the score was taken out of it for that time, but that's why the VHS DVDs exist. So the score will always live on.
Yeah.
And let's see. So these next three leading up to number one were you can pretty much interchange them on my list
Yeah,
because it was so
I can pretty
hard.
much say the same.
Yeah, to get these three, but Suspiria, Goblin from Suspiria, just I think it's one of the greatest themes in a horror movie, like of all
Absolutely.
time. It's not my favorite theme in an Argento film, but I think it's the best in an Argento movie, like for
Yeah.
sure. And just the simplistic nature to that too, and just with the bells and stuff, then just with the witch chanting that comes in underneath it, and it's just so effective. It's so creepy with the chanting, and it's such a great score for a what I think is a pretty much almost perfect movie, like a masterpiece of film, Suspiria, and that's definitely it's pretty much just that main score, but that's like pretty much the score. Like I can't think of much other pieces of music in Suspiria. Like there might be one or two other like small pieces of music, but most of it is just the main theme over and over again. But it's so effective.
that motif just over and over again.
But it's so effective that that's all you need, and it works so well. So Suspiria by Goblin for number 4 for sure.
And again, it fits the movie so well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like just perfectly.
Yeah, just
Goblin to me, Goblin and Argento. That's just
perfect. No, it's just it's like not at the same level, but it's like a Lennon and McCartney type deal. It's like like when the two people work together, everything they do is just phenomenal.
All right, so Gareth has a question for us. Do you find Elfman's Nightbreed score too much like Beetlejuice and out of place?
Honestly, I've never been a big Nightbreed fan, and so I don't remember the score offhand, so I wouldn't be able to comment on it. Yeah, but I love the Beetlejuice score. So if it's similar to it in some way, I mean, you can be too similar. That's why Reanimator did not make my list. But
there you go.
I can't remember the score for Nightbreed. It's been a while. That's a movie I got to rewatch.
God, it's probably been 20 years since I watched Nightbreed. Honestly, man. All right, let's see. Where are we at? My number 4. All right, let's see. My number 4 is Friday the 13th.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, what can you not say about Friday the 13th? It's
everything Harry Manfredini.
Again, everybody knows the Friday the 13th song. Absolutely. Everybody, like it's just.
I love Manfredini and everything he's done. The House movies that he scored.
Yes.
Everything that he does. The whole Friday series that he's mostly done. I think there was like 1 or 2 films he didn't do in the series.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did the rest of them. But all the same, like even Friday 3 with the like disco-esque theme to it. Yeah, like great job with that. Like everything Manfredini.
That sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah, I love that. Then they hear it in the supermarket gas station with the wallet for the 3D shot. The theme's playing in the store for some reason. Like I don't know why. Like that would be on the radio in there, but all right, man. Take care, 9. Take care, Eddie. All right, number 3, Psycho.
Yeah, I almost put that on mine too.
Yep. I knew it was going to be a bunch of almost made it or some different spot on the list, but I mean, who doesn't know the Psycho theme?
Yeah,
and that's why I said that Reanimator didn't make the list, because it's just a straight rip off of fucking Psycho.
Pretty much.
I mean, I still love the Reanimator theme because it does have enough difference to it, like that it adds in a little bit, but it's 100% just an homage to Psycho. So I couldn't put it on the list just because I had Psycho on here, but it's just a theme that everybody knows, even if they haven't seen the movie. Like they still know the theme from Psycho. It's just an iconic score at this point. So number 3, Psycho, 1960.
All right, so I might anger some people here with my number 3, because it's actually a more recent movie. I'm actually going to go with It Follows.
That actually almost made my list. I love It Follows, and I love it. Has such a Carpenter-esque like score to it. It reminds me of more like Season of the Witch, like Halloween 3, like with the synthesizers and stuff like that. But great score and great movie. I love it.
Yeah, and that was my introduction into like the synthwavy, type, like more recent synthwavy type stuff. No, and it's just a brilliant soundtrack.
Yeah, they do a great job with the soundtrack for that and with the whole movie. Like it's a very split film. I've noticed over the years, like a lot of people either love It Follows or they don't care for it really at all. But I fall into the former. I absolutely love that movie.
Same, absolutely, and the soundtrack is awesome too.
Yeah, and good performances, everything. It's great. All right, number 2 is Tubular Bells, Mike Oldfield, The Exorcist. Which. What can you even say about that theme? That's one of the rare ones that wasn't written for the movie. Like Mike Oldfield was like a new age prog musician almost, and it's like the full theme's like a half hour long or something like that, and they ended up using it for the movie. And I mean, I can't think of many more iconic shots than Meryl pulling up to the house and the theme kicking in. I mean, it's absolutely iconic. So the Exorcist theme, Tubular Bells, had to be my number 2 here.
Awesome. Well, my number 2 we've already talked about, Suspiria.
All right, perfect. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, it just when it just works that well, it's just you can't deny it.
Yeah, and it's just like imagining just like how slight of a chance you have when you're making a movie, like how small amount of movies are able to accomplish that feat of being just a brilliant movie in every other way, and then having just an iconic soundtrack to go with it.
Yeah.
And not a lot of them. I mean, look at how many horror movies there are, like in history of time, and then look at like the main like iconic themes and stuff. Like it's so rare to have that happen, to just get both a brilliant movie with a brilliant score, and all these movies do it amazingly. Like it blows my mind with some of these scores.
Yeah,
especially as a musician, that of just hearing some of these scores over the years, like some of them since I was a kid, and just like blown away by like the music that goes into some of these movies. Like absolutely great stuff. So number 1 we're at, right? The big number one. And it had to be this one, and my first horror movie I ever saw. And I tried to distance myself from nostalgia as much as possible, but I still came to the same conclusion. I didn't have to think like more than 2 seconds. And it's John Carpenter's Halloween.
That's my number 1 as well.
Perfect. Good. So I would just talk about it. God, just every piece of music in that fucking movie is perfect.
Yes.
Every single piece of music, not just even the main theme. And that's why Exorcist went number 2, because it just has like that. The main theme is so iconic. Every piece of music in Halloween is perfect.
And I completely agree. And and people don't even realize, I think, that it's actually much more of a mix of things than you think it is.
Oh yeah.
And like just for instance, that main theme, of course you have the da-na-na-na-na-na, but listen to the bass part. Boom, boom. I mean, it's so ominous and so like you hear it and you immediately like, oh, you know,
it's such great like intervals that he uses like in those bass lines, and just I think it's in 5/4, the main theme, the piano theme. So, just that main theme, just that little extra beat that throws it off a little bit. Yeah, absolutely, Gareth. Like it's every piece of music from the main theme to the dun 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 was brilliant. The slow piano, the ding 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 ding, everything, like every piece of music, and the fact that Carpenter wrote, directed like this fucking movie, and then wrote the soundtrack that's become like one of the most, if not most iconic soundtracks in a horror film, or in film, like in the top. Definitely has to be like top 5 for me for like all film of all time, like score, and absolute brilliance that this man was able to do this as his first film directorial debut, and all the parts that he played in it, and every part is perfect. Like absolutely brilliant. That whole score to all those movies, but Halloween has to win it for sure. And we both picked it as number 1, so it means that Halloween did something right with the with the score there.
But you know, I know we had a lot of overlaps.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I figured that was going to happen. Like ones that I put in honorable mentions, or ones that I almost were going to throw on and then didn't at the last moment. I mean, these are iconic themes for a reason.
Yep.
It makes it more suspenseful. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that the Halloween theme, like I said, the second you hear it, you're like on edge. You're like,
no, absolutely,
and it's just so brilliant.
I think the whole scene from, I just did a Halloween video like a month ago or so. I couldn't wait for Halloween for October. So I said, I got to do fucking Carpenter's Halloween. I said, then I'll do the whole series. I'll be doing the rest of this month. I said, in that, with the whole scene when Laurie finds the bodies across the street, and then from that scene until she gets back into the Doyle house, I think it's the most tense scene in the film, like ever.
Yeah, I can see that.
The tension in that scene with Laurie just running and screaming to the neighbors, and they open the lights, they turn the lights on, and then they don't answer, and she's screaming, "Can't you hear me?" And then she throws the pot up to Tommy, and the shots back to Michael over and over, and he's getting closer and closer. Like, so amazing, man. The tension in that scene is just off the charts.
Absolutely.
I do love some Full Moon Pictures, but maybe if I had to pick one, that would maybe Castle Freak. Castle Freak, I actually really like the score from.
That's a great movie too.
Yeah.
Stuart Gordon, another underrated director.
Yeah. Stuart Gordon, and we have Jeffrey Combs, Barbara Crampton, all together in that one again.
Yeah.
I love Stuart
what could
Gordon.
go wrong?
Yeah. I love Stuart Gordon. I love Jeffrey Combs is one of my favorite horror actors. Barbara Crampton is a goddess. Like, all three of them together can't do wrong. Like, great.
That stuff. That was a perfect trio right there.
Yeah. They same with like Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell. Like, the two of them together. It's like, you can't go wrong with it. Yep. It's amazing what like certain minds. From like we're all different. We all have different minds. We all think differently and stuff. But it's just amazing when you see two minds or three minds get put together on an idea, on a movie or music or anything, and just imagining like how rare of a chance that those two or three minds ended up meeting and are together, and then ended up creating something that's brilliant.
Yeah,
like, it's fascinating to think about, for sure.
It really is. It really, really is. All right. So we have another top 10 for you as well. We're not done.
No, it is not just one top 10. It is two top 10s.
It is
coming here. And what's our second top 10 is the Final Girls. Top 10 Final Girls.
Final Girls. Now this
was hard.
This was very hard.
This is extremely hard for me. Like, some of them are going to be pretty obvious ones, just because of just the time it would take to go back and even just the slasher films alone, like, to think of like every single one and be like, oh yeah, this one, oh shit, this one. I'd have like 50 by the end of it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. The ones that are just absolutely deserve these spots. But my number one will definitely probably be Not Expected.
So I can definitely tell you, there were a couple that I left out on purpose.
Okay.
Just because they kind of overwhelm everything else, and so I wasn't going to go that route.
That makes sense. There was one I left off because I more consider it science fiction than horror, even though it definitely is a science fiction horror film. But I guess I'll start with that. Just that honorable mention, Ellen Ripley from Alien.
She's in my honorable mentions as well.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I've always saw it more as a science fiction than a horror movie. I adore it. I adore that movie, but just because I feel like it's straight up more science fiction, I made her an honorable mention.
Yeah,
I can't quite call it 100% horror, even though it is a horrific film. Like, some crazy shit happens in there, and she kicks ass in it, like, absolutely.
And I will add another sci-fi honorable mention. Sarah Connor.
Yep, she was actually. I left her off purposely, also.
Yep. So yeah, those are actually my two honorable mentions. There you go.
Yeah, all right, there we go. Same wavelength. You want to start this one off? Top 10.
All right, yeah, sure. I'll start this one off. All right, so for number 10, I went a little off. I think I went a little off kilter, but we'll see. And I actually do have pictures for mine. Maybe some of yours. If you say it, I'll pop it up too.
There we go. Probably the same ones.
So my number 10 is from 1976, and it's Sue Snell from Carrie.
Okay, yeah. She actually, I thought of her. I thought of putting her on, but couldn't quite pull the trigger with the other ones I have on here. But she definitely came to mind for surviving that whole prom.
She did, and she's in part 2 as well.
Yep.
Even though part 2 is horrible.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I saw part 2. Yeah, I don't remember liking it at all. It was bad. But
I think I saw it at the theater, and that was it. I don't think I ever watched it
again. Yeah, probably not the one that's worth rewatching.
Sue was all right. She was all right, and she made it. So
yeah, just the fact she crossed my mind shows that she's definitely up there. Number 10, I had to put her on just out of respect for the franchise, because so many people love this franchise. I am not a fan. I've never been a fan of this franchise. I hope it just fucking ends like soon, and it's not. But Sidney Prescott from Scream.
Yeah,
I mean, she's survived 5 massacres already, with another one coming next year. So
it's
I
it.
got to throw her props. As much as I am not a Scream fan, I like even the original. There's a few things I like or love about it, and doesn't do anything really for me. It never has, ever since it came out. But
Yeah,
I have to show her props because she survived 5 films already, and has a 6th one coming up. So Sidney Prescott from Scream for my
she
number 10 for
she's
sure.
actually one of the ones that I left off on purpose.
Yeah, all right, it makes sense. I
Yeah,
wasn't sure of even throwing her on,
yeah,
just because I have my feelings for the franchises. But
yeah,
I said, I mean, out of just respect for the franchise because of how
yeah,
big it's gotten and how popular she is as a final girl.
yeah.
But I mean,
Like,
she's been final girl 5 fucking times already. Time to move on. Like, time
yeah.
to time to just end this shit already. Like, that's how I
Well,
feel
well,
about
that's
Scream.
well, that's kind of the issue that I have with those movies. It's the same shit over and over again.
Yeah, yeah, and people who
Like
quote that's why I can never list Ghostface as like a slasher icon. He's not. It's a different person every single
every
movie.
single time,
Or
right?
2 people
Or
every movie.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's not one guy. Like, so it's not a slasher icon. It's just like an iconic slasher costume. Like, it's not a slasher. Like, it's not one person. So like, I can never. Whenever I see Ghostface on the list of like top slasher villains, it's like, yeah, which
yeah.
one? Like, which of the dozen of them so far do you mean? Because like, he's not one person. But yeah, Sydney had to make it. So that's number 10 for me.
There you go. All right, number 9. My number 9, I went a little off again. But I went with Jess Bradford from Black
She,
Christmas.
she almost made mine as well from
Yeah,
Black
Olivia
Christmas.
Hussey, man.
Olivia Hussey's great. And
Just she's so good in that movie, and like I don't know, like she just when I think Final Girl, I don't necessarily think her, but I think that type of character.
yeah, just who portrays that
Yeah,
strong female, not even lead. It doesn't even have to be the lead of the movie, but
no,
just yeah, with those characteristics that make the final girl trope what it is.
yeah,
Like even if it's not like a traditional final girl. Like yeah, I
right.
absolutely know what you mean.
And I mean, Black Christmas is one of the OGs.
Yeah,
So
I know, 100%. Like I
respect.
thought she was considered for me also, and yeah, no, a great iconic, one of the first slasher movies.
Yeah,
Like that's considered all the time for me. It's Bava's A Bay of
absolutely.
Blood is I
Yep.
consider like the first true film that like molded the slasher genre into what
Yeah,
it
we see
is.
you and I think a lot alike because that's the first one I always think of too.
Yeah, I always think of A Bay
Yeah.
of Blood, Twitch of the Death Nerve.
Yep.
But my number 9 will be a little more obscure than the more popular one. It's Molly from Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. Renee Estevez.
Okay.
I absolutely love that movie. It's my favorite in the franchise. It's one of my favorite 80s slashers, and I loved Renee Estevez when I was growing up, and I was seeing
Yep.
her in this movie and Intruder and stuff. She was adorable, man. So like anytime I
She
see Renee
was.
Estevez, it brings back those memories, and she's just a great character. Just I love her character in that movie, and just the way that her and Angela. Pamela Springsteen, Bruce Springsteen's sister. I think she does a great job in that too. But
Oh,
this you could debate because like I'm not sure they leave it open if she lives at the end, Molly, because you
yeah.
just have Angela show up and with the cowboy hat and shit. So we don't know what happens to her. I'm leaving it that she survives. So
Yeah,
Molly from
good enough for
Sleepaway
me.
Camp 2 for my number 9.
Nice pick. I would concur with that. I would I'm down. I'm down. And
Yeah,
also that's
I
also my
always love
favorite
her.
of the franchise as well.
Oh, good shit. Yeah, it's my
And
favorite one.
yeah, and everybody always talks about Felissa Rose, but nobody talks about Pamela Springsteen.
Yeah, no one
And
does.
it's a shame because she's
I love
freaking
I love
awesome.
her. I love her performance in 2 and
She's
3.
she's the perfect Angela. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anybody?
I agree. I agree. Like
But
just the
Pamela
way
Springsteen killed it.
she did such a great job, and I wish that she continued acting after that because I think she quit acting like right after that, or like another
Like not
film or something like that.
yeah, she made a
And
couple more and that was it, I
and
think.
then
Yeah.
yeah, she was done. Like I would have liked to see her stick around because her performance as Angela is phenomenal in those movies. Like
I
absolutely.
completely agree. Completely agree. All right, so we're at number 8. My number 8 is a pretty obvious one, I would say. I'm going Alice from Friday the 13th.
Okay. The
Yep.
only reason she didn't make my list was because I have a Friday girl on here. Basically, is the only reason she didn't make the list. But she's definitely up there also. I mean, who doesn't love Alice? And she kicks the shit out of Mrs. Voorhees before decapitating her.
She does indeed. She was she was really the first one. Well, not really the first one, but she was one of the ones that like really fought back,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
hardcore. She's like, oh yeah, you and then
Yeah, like you think I'm dying here? Like,
yeah,
not
like
gonna happen.
I
Like,
don't freaking think so.
yeah. Time to switch this up here.
Yeah,
Absolutely, she's just an amazing final girl. Absolutely.
absolutely.
My number 8 I picked, and you can use this basically for the remake or the original. And Jennifer Hills from I Spit on Your Grave.
Oh,
Even though it's a little cheating, as she's kind of the only girl in the movie, but just the whole, like you just said with the one before that, that she just embodies everything that a final girl would
man,
have, and then some,
you're right.
because she comes back and murders the shit out of all of them. So Jennifer Hill, whether it's the remake, which I really love the remake, like I think it did a great job as a remake for the original, and I both the films, I think she the same character, same thing for me. Like what a kick-ass main lead female protagonist you have in this movie that just embodies everything about a final girl for me.
I that's an amazing pick. That's yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
I completely agree, and why I didn't think of that one, I don't know, but that's brilliant.
Yeah, that's just for what she goes through in the movies, man.
I mean, yeah, I'm at, dude. Yeah, I've seen the first one, the original, a couple times.
Yeah.
And Camille Keaton is so damn good in that movie.
Oh, she's great. She's great. The way and
I mean, she just kills it.
her whole transformation from just like the sweet girl and stuff to just like this brutal killer at the end.
Complete badass.
Oh,
Just
she's great
yeah,
in that. Really good.
yeah.
So
Completely agree.
that is my number 8.
Very awesome, awesome. Oh, I actually do have. I don't know if you consider her a final girl. That's why I didn't put her on the list. But I do have one more honorable mention.
Okay.
Of Barbara from the
From
Night of the Living Dead 90.
Okay. Yep. I actually thought of her also.
Patricia Tallman. Yeah.
Yep. I thought of
again,
her. I thought of and I don't know why I can't think of her name, but for the one from Day of the Dead who survives with the other two on the helicopter.
Yeah.
A few of the Dead movies were in my mind while I was making this, but so I definitely a good pick. I was thinking of that one.
Yeah.
All
right. So my number
your
7.
Number 8. Yeah, your number 7.
My number 7 is Alice from Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5.
Okay, I thought of her as well. Great, great character.
I mean, everybody talks about Nancy, of course, and rightfully so. I'm not saying that, but Alice is a completely underrated character.
Oh, absolutely.
And she whoops Freddy's ass a couple times.
Yeah, she definitely puts her all into it, and she makes him look like a bitch at times. Yeah, for sure. Like she definitely. That's why my number 1 is who it is. It's because of just the ass kicking that this woman gives. So we'll get to that. But yeah, great pick. That's definitely a good one. My number 7 was, and this is actually, there's 2 of them from this franchise, and here's, and this one is also kind of cheating, as it's the only girl in this movie, but Stretch from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, as it's my favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and I just love her whole character, and just she's a badass in this movie, and just loses her mind near the end of it, pretty much like the other one entry from that franchise on my list, but such a great. I actually just got to see with a buddy of mine. They were showing a double feature at a cinema near us of Texas Chainsaw 2 and 3, like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So we got to see 2 and 3 on the big screen. So it's awesome seeing those two in the theater like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was a good time.
Well, since we're on the Texas Chainsaw kick, my number 6 is Sally Hardesty.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say she is the original final girl.
Yeah, pretty much. right?
You know,
I
I
I can't really think of one before that.
I do have one coming on my list that is from an older movie,
Yeah.
but we'll get to that. But when you think Final Girl, Sally Hardesty should be one of the first ones that pops
Oh
up.
yeah, and the image that you just showed is the image that usually will pop into your head.
Boom, yeah,
Right there.
right there,
Her
bam.
cackling
Ah,
insanely on the in the truck driving away, which is
yep.
how I always say these slasher movies and stuff should end 90% of the time. With the final girl completely losing, because you're going to asylum the rest of your life
Well,
after
yeah,
this, unless
yeah.
you're like unless it's like or you're getting blamed for the murders, like especially if it's supernatural, like Chucky or like shit like that.
Mhm.
You're going to prison like forever, like
Oh yeah,
that, or an asylum, because no one's believing you. So like in
yeah.
all
It's
those
a
slasher
killer
movies,
dog.
that's the end credit sequence that we never see. Like we see it in the few, but like very rarely. So whenever we get an ending like that portrays like them losing their minds, like I guess that's an honorable mention, is
Yep,
Chris from Friday 3.
yep,
How
yep.
she's like just cracked at the end of that movie, and
Oh,
she's
completely.
shaking, and the cops are walking into the car, and she's jumping all over the place and starts laughing. Like that's the reaction you would see like every time
Yeah,
that this
that's
would
that's
happen
the
ever.
real reaction you would see exactly.
Yeah, so just any time that they have that with a final girl in a movie, I always have to tip my hat and say yes, because that is
Yeah.
exactly what would happen in this situation for sure. But yeah, she is on my list also. But what we're at,
Yeah.
number 6. You're at number
Yep.
6.
Yep. Number six.
All right. So number 6 for me was Mia from Evil Dead 2013, the
Okay.
remake.
Okay. All right.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I don't care for many remakes post 2000s, but Evil Dead I think is a phenomenal remake.
It
Like that
is.
whole franchise is one of the few franchises it's perfect for me. It's never done me wrong until
Yes.
Evil Dead Rise comes, and we'll see how that goes. But up until now, it's been Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, Armored Darkness, Ash vs. Evil Dead, even the video game that just came out recently, all fantastic. And the remake was fantastic also. It was one of my favorite remakes of the 2000s, like onward. But
Yep.
she kicks ass in this movie. And
She
like,
does. She kicks a
and just
lot of ass in
and
this
that
movie.
whole ending scene, just with her with with raining blood everywhere, and her with the demon and with the chainsaw, and just awesome stuff. Like
Yep.
so good, such a gory movie. Like I still can't believe it was released in theaters,
I
like
I
uncut the way that it is.
I know.
Because
Uh huh.
when I saw it in theaters, I was like, damn, like this is like a lot more gory than I thought it would be. Like for a
Yep.
remake and for being released as a rated R film in theaters. But Mia, yeah, for sure, number 6 on my list. Evil Dead.
Great choice. I remember seeing it. I remember seeing it in the theater at a sneak preview. So I saw it like before it came out. You know, like a week or
Yeah.
two before it came out. And I remember all my friends texting me, going, "Dude, how was it?" And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, "It's the bloodiest damn thing I've ever seen in my life."
Yeah, right. Oh, there's so much great effects in that movie too. It's just
It really was, and I was like, you have to watch it. I know it's a remake, but you gotta go watch it.
yeah, that's just one of the remakes that's worth it. For me. Texas Chainsaw 3 is one of my favorite remakes of the 2000s going on. Um, the one we just mentioned, Suspiria, and Maniac of 2012 with
Oh yeah,
Elijah
dude.
Wood.
I
That's a
I agree with all of
that's a
those. Absolutely.
phenomenal remake. That is
Yes.
such a work of art. The Maniac remake. Like just
Absolutely.
all from point of view, and it's just everything about that movie is just phenomenal. Like one of
We
the
got the
great.
original
Yep, and I love the original
and the
also.
remake.
Love it. They're
Yep,
and they're both so different, but they're the
they
same.
are.
Like they follow the same storyline pretty closely, but just like the original being set in like 80s, late 70s, in slummy New York City, which I'm from New York. I like not Manhattan, but I like when it used to be like that before they cleaned up Manhattan, of just how sleazy it was and just like burning
Hmm.
barrels all over the place, and like just I love that sleaziness to the original Maniac. And then you have the remake that it's in LA, and just the neon lights and just like the beautifulness of Los Angeles mixed with everything that happens in that movie, and just everything being from point of view, and just it was such an inventive film. Like one of my favorite remakes of all time, the Maniac 2012. Great
Yep,
movie.
yep,
But
yep.
where are we up to? 5.
All right, number 5. Yeah.
Number 5. Top
All right.
five.
All right. So my number 5. Okay, my next 3 are questionable, maybe.
Okay, makes sense.
All right. So my number 5 is Ann Darrow from King Kong.
Okay, actually, she was one
Favorite.
I did not even think of.
Yeah, favorite. I mean, she's kind of the damsel in distress the whole time,
I would categorize her as final
but
girl for sure.
she survives.
Yeah, and just having, like we said earlier, with the having all those characteristics of the final girl and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
good pick. I did
So there you
not
go.
even
So
think of
a
King Kong.
little bit out of the box, but I had to throw her on there.
Yeah, no, good pick. I haven't seen the original King Kong in a while. My number 5 was your last one, Sally Hardesty from Texas Chainsaw. Yep,
Oh.
there she is again, looking all insane as ever. And she, yeah, for reasons aforementioned, she had to be my in my top 5. So she starts off the top 5 at number 5.
There you go. All right. All right. My next one, and uh, hmm, I might get a lot of crap for this. I might not. I don't know from people. I don't know. But mine is Jamie Lloyd
She almost made my list.
from
She
Halloween 4 and 5.
almost made my list.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing about Jamie Lloyd, all right. So Danielle Harris is like a year or two older than I am. So
Mm,
she's my age. So when these movies came out, I saw myself in her.
yeah,
As simple as that. I was that perfect age where I was like, I do not want Michael Myers coming after me.
yeah, exactly.
You know,
And you can
and she's so
identify with
freaking
the character.
likable.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's an adorable kid in those movies, and she's
She's
smart.
so freaking likable, and
And
like
she's smart too. Like
she
she's not a
is.
stupid kid. Like if you
She's
had
not.
some dumbass kid in this movie, like Myers would have been done with them in in 4. Like we would have never had her back in 5. Like she's
Like,
a smart little girl. Like they don't mention in the 4th one, right? The psychic link. That's not till like the 5th one, right?
yeah, it's the 5th one is
That's
when
the 5th
that
one when they
starts.
bring up the link between them or
Yeah,
whatever. That's
yeah,
a little whatever, but like
yeah. I
I
mean,
love
they made some
Halloween 4.
questionable choices.
Yeah, I love Halloween 4. 5 is a little like iffy for me, but 4 I've always loved. But
But yeah,
yeah, she almost made my list for sure.
yeah, and again, Halloween 4 is one of my favorites. To
In the
me, it
franchise, right?
yeah. In the franchise, it's always between 1 and 4 for me personally.
Okay. Yeah, I love 4. I think it has the most Halloween, like the holiday feel out of all the Halloween movies.
Yeah,
Like
for
something
sure.
about just even like the daylight shots and like the daytime scenes, which is a few of in that movie, they feel dark and
Mhm.
like Halloweenish. Like the atmosphere in 4 is not talked about as often as it should be. Like 4 has such a great atmosphere to it, like just like
Yeah,
this dark tone, and just it feels like I said, like the most Halloweenish holiday wise to me out of all of them, like
yeah,
the whole franchise.
yeah.
Great movie. I love
I
Halloween
agree.
4.
Yes, indeed.
All right, what are we up? Number
Number
4.
You're number 4.
My number 4 is Nancy Thompson from Friday from Nightmare on Elm Street. Had to put her in just for
There you go.
I think she was more yeah, there you go. I think she was more of I mean I love her as a final girl, but it was like you don't get much better than her. Like she's like the Kevin McAllister of horror movies. Like with all the traps that she sets up for Freddy and everything,
Yep.
and
Yep.
like completely badass. Like it fights back like crazy against Freddy, and then she even makes it back for other entries in the series. So
And she's uh, to me, she's the most real. Like,
I figured you were going to say something like that. Yeah, I know what you mean.
you
Like
know what I mean?
genuine,
Like,
it comes off as genuine. Like she just
she
seems like
does.
the most genuine girl and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
She just has this likability to her that, like, when you see your character for the first time and stuff, like you instantly can like her and feel for her and not want her anything to happen to her.
Mm,
And then she just turns into this badass at the end and just puts up a hell of a fight against Freddy. And
she
it's
does.
not even like versus Jason or Michael that are like physical entities. This is like a dream demon.
Yeah,
And she even puts up a
and she
huge fight
figured it out.
against this. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing. Great final girl. So my number 4, yep, Nancy Thompson.
Awesome. All right, my number three. Um, Again, I wasn't sure if you technically consider her a final girl,
Okay.
but I do. So
All right.
it's it's
I
Regan.
I thought of her too. Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean,
She survives the film,
she survives.
and
She survives two films
yeah. And then the
and a
second one.
TV show.
The second one, actually, Exorcist 2 gets a lot of shit, and rightfully so. It's a train wreck of a movie. But there is some good stuff in there that if you
There
took it
is.
all out and rearranged it and like remade it completely, but like with some of those ideas like intact, there's a good film in there somewhere. It's just completely lost in there.
I completely agree. I think yeah, if they re-edited it, or something, something,
Yeah, just something to change
it could
most
have
of it.
been
But like,
really freaking awesome.
yeah, like it's not as like I don't call many films like terrible, like straight up, but like a lot of you hear that film hated on all the time, and it's like yeah, it's very bad, but it's like there's still some good stuff in there
Yeah.
that if they were able to just isolate that good stuff and like write some new shit around it,
Hmm.
you can have a great sequel there. But
Yeah.
luckily, we got Exorcist 3 Legion after that one, and that's just an amazing movie. So, at least 2 for 3 with the original Exorcist series.
There you go.
But yeah, she came to mind also. So definitely a good pick.
Nice.
My three is kind of a cheat because it can also kind of be number one. But I'll explain that part when we get to number one. But number
All right.
three is Laurie Strode from Halloween,
Mm.
which when I'm talking about her in this instance, it's John Carpenter's Halloween. So you can kind of already see where I'm going. Where if I'm talking about the whole franchise, it plays out a little differently. But
Hmm.
in John Carpenter's Halloween, she's number three for me, Laurie. And just she puts up a hell of a fight too. And we get some of the greatest scenes in horror, and we get some with the greatest music in horror.
Yeah.
And just her whole character, likable as can be. Like all the characters, the female characters in Halloween, like not a bad character in the whole movie. So just and an iconic performance too. And I love the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis, which you see a lot of actors do, or like their kids come up and they don't really do anything themselves. They kind of just attach themselves to their parents' name and
Hmm.
become like, oh, yeah, I'm the daughter or son of blah blah blah, and then they just get into the business because of that. She
Nice.
did it on her own. She could have wrote on Janet Leigh's, on her mom's coattails or
Yeah.
Psycho and stuff.
Yeah.
It's had the ads and stuff saying like from the daughter of Marion from Psycho. Like yeah, they could have done a whole thing like that, but she
Oh
didn't.
yeah.
She just did it herself, Jamie Lee Curtis, and she
Yeah.
just went into her first film on her own merits and did an iconic performance. And
Absolutely.
still to this day, and even past this day, because we got Halloween Ends coming soon, she's
Yep.
still playing this character, which
She's
is
still playing it 40 something years later.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is unbelievable. So she
And it's
definitely had to be in my top three for sure.
yeah. Now she is the other one that I left off on purpose
Okay, makes sense.
because to me, Lori and Sydney, I mean they kind of have the monopoly on everything,
Yeah, yeah.
especially nowadays. They're both so iconic.
Well, there's like the biggest of those slasher franchises that are active still, like
Right,
now
right,
in this time.
and like I said, and they're still active, like actively active. Not
Yeah,
like Friday the 13th, which has been dormant for how long now?
yeah, exactly.
Like
Like you got Halloween Ends coming, and then you got Scream
right,
6 just is coming out, and then Halloween
yeah.
and
They
Scream
probably
5 just
already
came out
made
this
the
year.
damn thing.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely the two most active ones for sure out of the
but
franchises.
but yeah, I will not begrudge either one of them being number one or two or for anybody.
Yeah,
Absolutely, well deserved. I just wanted to go a slightly different route.
yeah, I hear you. That's a decent take.
So
And
so
yeah, your number.
my number two, um, and again easily could have been my number one. I went back and forth with one and two quite a bit, but my number two is Ginny from Friday Two.
She is my number two as well.
So yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
she's the ultimate Friday
Yep,
final girl, like
absolutely.
no question.
Yep.
I
She's
think
basically what like Friday 4 I think is the greatest slasher film ever made. Friday the final chapter. But I don't like Ginny is so much better than Trish as a final girl in that movie.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
just Ginny being in Friday 2 makes it almost tied with 4 for me. Just for her being in the movie and just for being the final girl, because she's just the perfect, like you said, final girl for a Friday movie. And
And
she just
super smart.
super intelligent, super likable. Just like she has this charm to her, but also
She's
this smart assness to her. Like the
mhm.
way she talks to Paul and like just gives him shit every now and then. Like she has this like cute snappiness to her, like the
Mhm.
quick wit to her and stuff. She's just a great character and
Yeah.
just absolutely deserves number 2 on here
All right.
for
So
sure.
our buddy
Number
YouTube
1.
me
All right,
is
YouTube
saying
me. What's going on?
not playing up the iconic mom thing can also apply to Carpenter. It was his production, and he could have said, "To hell with you," starring the daughter of the chick from Psycho. Yeah,
Yeah,
easily, easily.
exactly. That
Instead,
is true. That
instead
is
he let
true.
it be marketed without that. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it I think that worked in favor of everybody.
yeah,
Really.
yeah. And I like I said, I'll always give respect to an actor and actress, that starting out that has a famous parent who's an actor and actress that won't just ride the coattails of them. That'll just do something in their first few projects on their own and make a name for themselves with their own work. And I always give respect for that. So I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis has a huge amount of respect for me for starting her career the way that she did.
Yeah.
But all right, number 1. This will
Numero
take
uno.
people by surprise. This for sure. This one, Erin from You're Next.
I've never seen it.
You're Next is a great movie. Adam
That's what
Wingard.
I've heard.
This girl is. I don't want to ruin it for you now, so I don't want to talk about it. All I'll really say is that this woman is like a fucking. She just beats the shit out of everything in this movie. Like this girl does not give up from the beginning of when shit starts happening in this movie to the end. Like she is like a. Have you ever seen The Guest with Dan Stevens?
Yes.
She's like the female version of him. Like
Okay. Okay.
like I
All
would
right.
like to put the two of them together, and they're both Wingard films. Like just to have the two of them verse each other, because like that's how this guy. She's a beautiful girl, and she's like with the girlfriend of one of the people in this family that they come to this like gathering of the family and stuff. But she is a kick-ass final girl, and like just the way she fights back. I can't think of anyone else who puts up this much of a fight and like succeeds almost like with this. So I don't want to say any more because I don't want to ruin it for you since you haven't seen it. So.
I am going to watch it because too many people have told me it's good. So.
Oh, it's a great movie for sure.
Yeah.
Most of Adam Wingard's is stuff is great.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree. All right. So my number 1 you mentioned a little while ago. My number 1 is Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Same with the score list. Like my top, the 5 through 2 could all be rearranged around a bit. Like
yeah. I mean,
anyway.
This really could. I mean, to me, Nancy, kind of embodies the the all-American, normal,
like like
girl.
your average suburban girl, like
who got thrown into this insane situation, and she overcame it. And Heather Langenkamp, I just adore Heather Langenkamp.
I do too. She's just brilliant in every way.
She's great in everything I've seen her in.
Sweetest woman ever too. Like just any interview you see her in or anything she's talking in, like she just seems like the sweetest woman. Like absolutely, I love everything about her.
I actually had a chance to meet her.
I know that. Yeah, I've met Felissa Rose, who are also is like again like the most sweetest woman ever. Felissa Rose.
Yeah.
Like awesome people, but she definitely. So my number 1 point that could have, if I look at it a different way, is if I'm looking at Laurie as the whole franchise, I'd probably put her as number 1. Laurie Strode as the number 1 final girl, just for making it 40 plus years being this final girl. I don't think there's any other final girl that's been going this long. Can't be. She's the only one.
Like 7 movies, I think.
Halloween 1, 2. H2O. She dies at the beginning. So it's that's
Resurrection.
why it's a stipulation, because she dies at the beginning of Resurrection. So she's kind of dead already. But then she's back in 2018 in a different timeline. So
Yeah.
so she
So,
that's
yeah.
why it can go either way with that. But I think overall, like if I had to pick like the number one, it would be Laurie, just for being at it for so long and just being with the franchise for 40 plus years and still fighting against Michael until we see what happens when Halloween ends. But if I'm just looking at Halloween, the original John Carpenter's, then she's in my number 3, and I think that's a good spot for her.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like I said, I left off Laurie and Sydney because to me that would like automatically be.
I almost left Laurie off too, honestly, just because of, like you said, it's like the obvious picks. Like you know that they're on every list. Like, and the fact that I even threw Sydney on, like she fucking should be on her knees, like grateful as shit to me that I even mentioned a name in this because of how I feel about Scream. But like she had, like I said, I had to give props where props due for Sydney. So I got, and then once she made it on number 10, I was like, no, I have to put Laurie. Like I can't put Sydney on and not throw Laurie Strode on there. So I said, all right, we got to do that. But awesome list, man. Great stuff.
Yeah, you too. And I'm
very similar opinions with them.
I'm definitely gonna have to check out your next. There's no question about it.
If you want to see
I might even have
Final Girl. Yeah, if you have it, throw it on one of these.
I might even have the damn thing. I don't even know.
Yeah, if you want to see just a kick-ass Final Girl, then like Erin in that movie, she is phenomenal. Like awesome stuff.
As she's saying, Laurie got stronger in each film, acting wise, etc.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis has had a phenomenal career. I mean, outside of horror, after her early films, like she's, I think she's a great actress. Actually, she's in so many things too. Like she's a very accomplished actress. But
and she can do a lot of different things. Like she does
comedies, dramas, horror. She can do anything.
Well, I mean, her husband
anything,
is a comedic genius, but
yeah.
You know, I guess it kind of rubs off a little,
it might, it just might, but man, great list, and it was great to see so many overlapping opinions because I figured that's how it would be because most of these are just ones that have to be on these type of lists.
Yeah, well, it's funny because the more I talk with you, the more in sync we seem to be on opinions of things.
Absolutely, especially that the Beyond made it on both our lists.
Yes, I mean who the hell else would put the Beyond on?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a few, but not many. Like
probably not a whole lot.
Not like a casual top 10 horror score list for sure.
Yeah,
but good stuff, man. Thanks for having me on. This is fun for sure.
Yeah, dude. Thanks so much for coming, and
absolutely.
Don't forget to go check out JT's channel.
Yep, and don't forget, I'll comment and leave the nomination video for our YouTuber of the month for November, so everyone can go over there and vote. We've still got until Halloween night, so everybody get in there, vote for one of the 4 nominees, including our friend here, Al. So.
And just for anyone that wants to know, November is my birthday, so that'd be a nice birthday present.
There we go. It would be a nice birthday present, Al. So everyone get voting, and for sure.
Another thing about Jamie is that she's one of those women who's far good-looking woman as she was a young woman. I can see
for
that.
Sure. She's aged well.
Yep. Yeah. Let's see. Made her hot. That's all that Activia. All right, Ma. Thanks, Ma. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna get out of here. All right. So everybody, remember, stay spooky.
All right. Take care, brother.